Cool. So second take for the second podcast. I've set the timer now. I've just forgot that. So let's get into it with Sam Sayer from D-Type.
Yes, good to see you, mate.
And you, mate. What can you just give us an overview of what D-Type is? What do you do?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're just about to enter year 12 of business, which is crazy, really. We primarily do web design, branding as well, but all the sort of peripherals, graphics, UI, UX, anything that's going to help you succeed online. So we sort of, my background is branding advertising.
Okay.
So it's very much that level that we approach it from. We have a development team, we've got a creative team, so it's making sure everything connects and works online.
It's not the one-man band building your website, it's the solutions-based, why are we doing this, not what are we doing.
Absolutely,
style.
absolutely. Nice. It's what I suppose I call more of a sort of meaningful approach. It's like, right, getting them to understand the business, the characters, their audiences. It's all about their audience, really. Never mind what you want, or what we think you should. What do your audience want? And join all the dots to make that happen.
So a lot of problem solving throughout, communication methods in there.
Absolutely.
And so 12 years you've been doing it. What was the career path getting into it?
Career path, I was freelancing a lot, ran a lot of agencies in the West Midlands, branding agencies, sort of general full service creative agencies as well. So I was exposed to a lot of, sort of big brands, the advertising side of things, the artwork. So a good mix. And along the way, you kind of think, I love what they do there. Didn't like that bit. And you kind of form this agency in your head of how you want it to be, right? Of course, it didn't go like that. But yeah, through freelancing, I then took on a couple of sort of longer stints, like covering maternity leave in one. And I took a role as creative director at another. Learned a lot, but I built up my own clients in the background. Yeah. Finally took the leap. And then I partnered with a prop tech company for a number of years. We still work together now. That kind of accelerated what we were doing. Yeah. And also the landscape had changed quite a lot when I first started. We got brochure designs, put banners, that kind of thing. Doing more and more web designs. Yeah. And ultimately it's all visual communication. Yeah. So it's the same sort of theory of grabbing attention in adverts marketing, translating that into an online experience. And we kind of went more and more that direction, and not look back really. Yeah. I think for me, I'd always been sort of the visual and creative side of things, and with web, it comes to life as well. Yeah.
So you were sort of client-led a little bit on what the needs of the industry were that brought you from more of the printed into the digital.
That's
and now you sort of gone, this is an area I love. And
absolutely.
Now almost you've took the education from clients going, we need this service. And now you're sort of pivoting that and going, this is the service we want to give to our clients.
Absolutely, yeah.
With the new, you gave me a sneak peek of the new thought process and new branding, which I absolutely love. And even new tattoo, was it?
Indeed.
Yeah,
indeed,
you're covering it up. This is is it PG? Is it PG-13 where you're allowed to drop an occasional swear word?
I don't know. PG-13.
Fuck it, let's go with
fuck
it.
Yeah. That is literally it. I mean, I don't think I can. The cameras will see
it's
it.
In there.
I got fuck it tattooed on my arm last year.
Nice.
As a direct result of, do you know what? I've been on such a journey. Yeah. Fuck it. Let's just crack on. Stick with our beliefs. Go hard with it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's your business. Yeah. For your mindset and what you want to be doing, absolutely. Not letting other people dictate what it is you do.
Yeah, I think it's it's all too easy. It's been a rough past few years. Economic downturns, that sort of thing.
Definitely.
You take on clients that aren't really a right fit sometimes. Because you've got to pay the bills, right?
We do.
Team, But actually, it's kind of being clearer in who we want to work with, our ideal clients, and this is an interesting one. Is we have synergies with certain sectors. Yeah. Property, particularly, sort of letting agents, estate agents. And also the sort of home improvement, architectural side of things, finance. But actually, it's the kinds of people.
Yeah.
That's the real difference. And people say, what's your niche? It's like, well, actually, we want to work with people who, find your vibe tribe, right? who do you connect with straight away and think you're bouncing ideas off? And some projects in the last 6 months have been, these are our people.
Yeah, because in those sort of sectors, like almost if you look at them from the outside, traditionally they might have quite a boring outlook. Property, lettings, finance. It's like a lot of traditionally it's very, these are safe. This is the way you do it. But now the whole industry is changing. So finance is massively different. You've got the cryptocurrencies coming in. You've got the different ways of banking. You've got companies like Sterling and Monzo, which are changing the way that banks work and making it a lot more customer focused.
Thinking about what does the customer want? What's they missing? Not how we've always done things.
Like on your Monzo app. I'm going to freeze my bank account because I've lost my card. Before it was like half an hour on the phone. Do I really want to do this? But it's simple and it works. And then the same with property. Like it used to be you bought a house, you stayed there. Now we all know it's a real struggle to get on the housing ladder, and traditionally it probably was even landlords sort of taking the piss a little bit of going, well, you live in this room. And now I've seen like amazing things of landlords changing the way they design rooms so that they took, one was that he did quite an industrial aesthetic. So he could have the cable flashing on the outside in a, what's it called? Like in the piping. So that when he says, I knew that people were going to move in and put a TV probably on that wall. If I left the cables behind it, there's a chance they're going to drill into it. So I put the cable in the flashing on the outside, so they knew where the cable was. They could drill their TV mount up, and there's a plug right there. They've changed it for the customer. Yes, it's not ideal. That person would probably love to be able to go and buy their first house, like our previous parents' generation and stuff. But they can't. So let's do what's best for the customer now. And being able to do that with websites and with different thought processes to show that actually we think about things differently. Like you say, finding your tribe. So it's even finding your customers are part of your tribe, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely that. I think we talked about this the other day is on LinkedIn especially, I kind of was like, what's the business here? I was like, I was like, why don't you be like on Facebook? I was like, well, I don't have any of my clients on my Facebook. I just post absolute rubbish on there. But it makes people laugh, whatever, So it's daring to be different, being bold. Don't try and be someone you're not. And kind of, I've been building on my LinkedIn. I think I listened to a great podcast, the Creative Courage podcast. Check that out. That's really fascinating. I felt really seen in that it was, as creatives particularly, you let your work do the talking. And you could have. Well, I certainly used to hide behind that. I was like, look what I produced, not what I'm saying. But actually now we have got something to say, and we're proud of it. We're proud of what we do, and I think it's just making sure you're out there and daring to be different, and not just being different for the sake of being different. Sticking to your core values and what your message is. That's the key.
But on the creative thing, I think it's gone from traditionally maybe 5-10 years ago. It was to get into web design, you had to know coding, you had to know all these very technical things. To get into photography, to get into video, you had to go and spend a lot of money on a camera. You had to do a training course. Now there's YouTube, there's training things, there's UIs that make it a lot easier. There's creating content on your phone. There's the whole UGC business model out there that it shifted everything from being a elitist sort of you have to know everything to now if you're creative you can use one little thing and make it very good.
Absolutely.
So the strategy and the brain is actually the important part now. And so with things like LinkedIn, there's no point going, this is my CV, because everybody can have the same CV. It's going, this is what I'm stand for.
Absolutely.
That's what people connect with. And that's what they want you for.
Do you know, that's a really interesting thing is, I've always explored a lot of things like video, all things around it. I like to have an interest and understanding of it. You need to have a holistic view of it, specialise in what you're good at. So, we built a team. Originally, we're doing just visuals for websites, and then we're using WordPress themes, and now we do it's all completely bespoke now. And we have a development team. I don't go near the heavy lifting.
But it's letting them do the thing they're good at.
Exactly.
You covering the bit that they're maybe not good at.
Exactly.
Sort of, the client relationships and why are we doing it, the strategy based.
But it's understanding how all the parts work and fitting them all together.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly something we've seen with other agencies. They're like a one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah.
And like, we can help you with everything, but we partner with different people for the right bits. Like, here's what we do. We partner with, SEO, we don't do ourselves. Well, I went on a course 6-7 years ago now. I was like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, it's not for me.
I'm done. So we partner with Spring Hill, big up Spring Hill, Chris at Spring Hill. They're specialists in that. Yeah. They don't go near web design because that's not what they do. And we understand how each other work. We spent a lot of time building that relationship. And it's a partnership. Yeah. It really is. We know what we need to do to make it technically ready and get some basics in place. But we're not going to try and succeed in that area because it's a specialist area.
Sometimes these bigger companies, they have all these different departments, and all it means is they become a rinse and repeat business model because they're like, well, we need to utilise the department we've got. Yeah. Well, that client maybe doesn't need their skill set, but you're trying to squeeze that in there because it fits your business model, not the client's business model. Yeah. So like you say, being able to partner with people means you can bring in the specialist for what is needed for that client.
Exactly.
On maybe an individual basis, it might work out tiny bit more expensive for your business or something, but for the value for the client, it's got to be so much better, isn't it? Because they're only paying for what they need.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, let's be clear, most agencies will partner with other, freelancers. I've spent years as a freelancer, good 10 years freelancing for agencies because they draft people in as they need them, right? Yeah. But it's just being transparent with that. I think that's the key.
Yeah. It's letting the client know we're using this person for this reason, not we've got somebody sitting in the office who's bored. Or we've got nothing for them to do, so we're sticking them on your project. Yes. Because that doesn't really help anybody, does it?
Exactly. Yeah. So our big thing at the minute is getting a shift together.
Getting a shift.
So and this is something that we've really, demonstrated ourselves the last, 6 to 12 months now, is getting your brand, your content, and your website experience. When they all align, your shift happens, right? So it's not just enough to just have a website, right? You've got to be seen. So, building an SEO and stuff. But if you're visible, if your content is great, if you're putting out regular content on LinkedIn, Instagram, whichever platform is relevant for your business, when they all come together, everything shifts in the right direction. Yeah. And it's sort of getting that right. And that's the crux of what we do.
So I love the wordplay. A bit of wordplay is always fantastic. But it aligns so much as well with the way the industry's shifting. Like as you're saying, your website, your social, everything has to connect. And I feel that a lot of the social networks have shifted along a little bit. Like absolutely, it used to be like your Facebook was for your friends. Yeah. Then it went through Facebook was sort of for work. Yeah. And now that's faded away. LinkedIn's now going into the stage where that's going to be more for friends, I think. Yep. Because people are becoming more themselves. So it's going to shift away from that traditional posting your CV and sitting there going, I want the job. Yeah. It's now a connection model. Then it'll go into a friendship model. I think something else will probably slide in at some point and be that CV hosting place. Yeah. And then Instagram has come from a place where you used to post your nice images and your social stuff to now that's a mini version of your website. Yeah. And then your website is then pivoted from a place where you used to show your content now to a little bit more of a deep dive. It's almost your first meeting with a client.
It is,
It's a qualifier.
Definitely.
It's where they can read more and go, is this the place we want to, do we want to book a meeting and chat with these people? Yeah. From their wording, not just through the pictures and stuff on their website.
Do you know what? And this is where, we're positioning as we want to get to the point where we're not just, they look capable. It's like, I've got to work with these guys. Yeah. That's the thing, right? It's like, they're the ones.
They get us.
Exactly.
Like they not only are sitting there going, okay, we're writing notes of what you want. They're saying, well, what about this? Oh, we could do this as well. Okay, I see your goal, not... Yeah. You're not a technician. You're not doing what the client says. You're saying you're doing what the client needs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And doing it with brilliant wordplay in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a great quote one of our clients said is, our website's like having another member of staff. Yeah. It does so much. If you use it to its potential, It's your resource bank for current clients even.
Yeah.
You know, if we get regular questions, we create a blog article about it.
Right, nice.
And then chop that into bits for social media and stuff like that. So it should be constantly drawing you back to it. You know, if your website isn't explaining exactly what you do and who you do it for, and why you, there's something missing. Yeah, you know. But also, it's the conversion tools and stuff as well.
My thing is, you don't need more customers; you need your customers.
Absolutely,
and it's part of that, isn't it? If people are viewing your website, they're potential customers, but you also want them to out-qualify themselves if they decide it's not the right fit. Because like, if you're going to have a meeting with somebody, it's your time and it's their time. Yeah. And for them to have been like, oh, I've read your website, really like it, I really want to sit down because I think we're going to be a good fit, or vice versa, is so much better for both parties rather than everybody getting a phone call from the Yellow Pages, I need a web company. Yeah. Okay, well, we're not a web company. We are this web company. Yeah. And sitting down with them, then they already know what what your style is, and they which qualifies them straight away, because you've gone, right, okay, we know you're a little bit of a think outside the box, break the rules a little bit. Whereas if not, it's going to waste everybody's time having meetings for the sake of a meeting.
Be okay with a no.
Yes, a no is fantastic. It's turning the negatives, what a lot of people see as negatives, into a positive, and going, well, actually, you've just saved me an hour. Well, 2 hours. Like an hour's meeting, we all know is like 2 hours or so. It is, and it gives you that value from putting your content out there and putting out yourself. Yeah. Right. So where did this shift come from for you?
I think we've done the sort of traditional things for a long time, and you kind of things evolve, like you say. So the social landscape has massively evolved. I think one big change is when Twitter changed to X. Right. It caused a bit of an exodus, Yeah. And that's why I think that bled into LinkedIn a bit more. LinkedIn feels quite more personal brand as well. Yeah. Whereas Twitter was kind of had that space. Still does. X, whatever. I think it was just kind of, nowadays you kind of got to do all marketing. Yeah. You can't pick one strand, and even over the years, even one won't last forever. You've got to keep switching around.
Yeah, if not, we'd all be putting posters up on lampposts.
Exactly, which I used to do for many years when I was putting on club events.
And for some stuff, it works. Yeah, it's still there. It's still for your local community and for for some industries. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, even kicking back to those ideas, well, hang on, everyone stopped doing it. Well, let's do it. Yeah, it's not about doing the opposite of what the others are doing, but it's kind of like, right, well, what's going to resonate? What's going to make people think? There's a great term called relative abruption, right? Which is from, I believe, the book Positioning for the Mind, which is like a 50s or 60s advertising book. It's like a marketing classic.
Some of them are fantastic. Yeah. Like, you think they might be outdated by now, but they're not, are they? Like they're so the thinking is still current because it's thinking, it's not doing. Yes. It's about how you make decisions and
absolutely. I mean, things goes in cycles as well. I'll never forget when Orange Telecoms launched. Just these like orange squares everywhere. It's like, what is that? When it launches, like everyone's really talking about it. Yeah. Great. Yeah. And I think that was quite I mean, they had a big marketing budget, but I think the tactics they used were kind of lower budget. Yeah. They're doing billboards, like posting posters, right? So
do you know Paul Arden? Have you heard that book? Yes. So it's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be.
Exactly, yeah.
And in there's a story about somebody who worked for an ad agency when the Berlin Wall was coming down. Yeah. And this guy was like, I'm going to be the first person to advertise on the other side of the Berlin Wall. And people were saying, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to get a client to sign off on it? He didn't. He did it himself. Right. He did the advertising. Yeah. He's the first person to do it. Not this company, not I think him. And nobody can ever take that away. Yeah. So it might have cost him, I don't think there was a number in there, but maybe, let's say £10,000, $10,000. Nobody can ever take that away. So no matter what that cost, it's a bargain. Yeah. And thinking differently like that gives so much value. So every pitch now he's ever done, he can say, well, I'm the first person to advertise in, was it West Germany? Yeah. And the value in that is you can't count it. And that's the thing with marketing tactics now. And everybody's like doing this thing, we want to go viral.
Yeah, it's not a planned thing.
No. Viral happens because you've done something slightly different. Yeah. And we did touch base a little bit about Stephen Bartlett, didn't we? And about sort of his thought processes and what he did in his office. Which do you want to?
Yeah, so he put, I forget if it's a green or an orange slide in his.
I think it was blue.
Was it blue?
I think it was the blue. Yeah, the blue slide.
And it was, by his own admission, one of the most stupid spends ever. But the return on investment on that, everyone talked about it.
So it was in his new office, wasn't it?
His new office. Yeah, they've just got a big investment, like $100,000 investment or something. They spent like 10 or 20 grand on this slide.
Yeah.
Just spanked it on that. And everyone's like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know, what are we doing? But we've done it now anyway.
Yeah.
And, there's that thing of like, all publicity is good publicity, right?
Yeah.
And yes, it was stupid. Everyone knew it was, but actually it's a good talking point.
Yeah.
Oh, you're that company that did the blue slide,
Like everybody who went there didn't look at going, oh, you've got a nice sign, you've got this, you've whatever, it's blue slide. Yeah. Like, have you been down the slide? Yeah, I bet that was sort of a talking point around, I think it's Manchester based, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Right. And do you know the guys at, Grenade protein shakes and stuff? Yep. They did something similar. They had no money when they were first starting, and they got a tank and drove it through central London.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said on that, like, they didn't check if you could do it. They checked it wasn't illegal, which it wasn't because the tank was so old, it didn't even need an MOT.
Right.
And then they were like, we did it. And I think they got like a £75 fine or something for driving through bus lane or something because it was so big. But they were like, well, it worked. So then when it came round to Body Power Expo, they couldn't afford a stand because it was like £10,000 or something again. But what they did is they phoned up the organisers of Body Power. We can't afford a stand, but is there any value to you for us to bring a tank? And all these other companies had built all these huge, expensive stands, didn't get much photography, and they said everybody who visited wanted a photo of the tank.
Yeah.
And so just doing something slightly different, grabbed the attention, worked. Yeah. It wasn't a case of throwing money; it was a case of thinking differently.
That's absolutely And I think that's why I love the phrase relative abruptness as well. Yeah. Not just some wacky stunt for the sake of it. Yeah. It's got to be relevant, I suppose, is more relative. It ties in with what they're doing. Yeah. It's something I've talked about for a long, long time with branding, particularly, is what I call substance abuse. Okay. Right? Your brand needs to have substance and have meaning to it. You've got to be able to rationalise every part of it. Why is it this colour? Why is it this shape? What's the thinking about? What's that? If you've got to over-explain it, it's lost. Yeah. So it's got to be sort of simple enough to, that's smart.
Are there any brands that you absolutely love on the outside that do that really well?
Which ones?
I'm going to throw one in.
Yeah.
Gymshark.
Yep.
It's in the name of what they do.
Yeah.
And so many people have been like, why don't you do football? Why don't you do stuff for this? And Ben Francis has just said, we're Gymshark. Yeah. We do gym. That's what we love. Yeah. And I like his business model. I think he's done really well, and the quality of the content and the quality of their offices are incredible. Like real inspiration. Sort of would love to build up. Maybe not the studio to be something like that big, but of that quality would be incredible. Right. So, do you have something that you sort of look at like that, or one that you go that maybe is a big brand and you're like, it's not right because of this reason that maybe a lot of people overlook?
There's so many. One that's always stood out for me, and I think more it's a kind of classic one, Virgin, in that whatever market they've gone into, they just flipped it in on it. Yeah. Virgin Atlantic, it's a premium service, but like the in-flight safety video is like nothing you've seen before, And I think I like that it's like, actually, people, if you want a good flight, they're not just looking for British Airways, they want something that's cool.
And even that in-flight video, like nobody ever pays attention to your in-flight safety thing. Yeah. But because it's different,
it's flashing through my head right now. I can't think of any other brand that's done.
They did the one with the Hobbits, didn't they, for Lord of the Rings? And it's like, well, the fact we can still remember a safety video now shows how different the thought process is. Like,
I don't know if it's still the same now, but it certainly used to be. If Virgin were entering a market, like, I can't wait to see what they do with it. Yeah. It was always so bold, I suppose. Yeah.
So you like the boldness?
I do, yeah. I think that's part, I don't know, perhaps because...
Do you think it's from your family background? Like, from the way that your business was named is still one of my favourite things. Like, give us a little bit of an in-date.
Okay, so... Yeah, this is... I didn't really realise the story till I was a little bit older. the family's always been very artistic, not necessarily design. But my grandfather designed the C-type, D-type, and E-type Jaguars. And the whole story behind that is interesting because he used to work at Bristol Airplane Company.
Right.
So he worked on the Brabazon and Beaufighter in the war. And his role there was not the shape of the aircraft, but look at efficiencies. Okay. So one of the first things he did was create something that hid the flare from the jet.
Yeah.
So on a night raid, it's hard to see them, stuff like that. So little tricks like that. And then he did sort of various things after that. And then Jaguar found him because they were entering the racing market. Yeah. And aerodynamicist, makes sense. So he first worked on the C-type. So there's a lot of people don't know the story between the naming behind it. So C stood for competition type, XK120C. Okay. XK120 was a roadster, and then the C was competition type. That was a complete success in Le Mans, multiple Le Mans winner. From there, they went to the D-type, so looking at more efficiencies. So the C-type was kind of a streamlined XK120. Yeah. The D was actually more of a sort of pure racing car, like designing wind tunnels. I think he was the first one to apply wind tunnel mechanics to car design.
As a car guy, I love this. Like,
It's
getting all the insight. Yeah. It's brilliant.
I mean, the D-type had Dunlop disc brakes as well. So, it's a good mix of form and function. And that's one of our mantras, really, is it's got to look great, but it's got to work well too. Yeah. Looks aren't enough or functions isn't enough. It's got to be the both. That's so cool. And then on to the E-type, which originally was not sort of wanted as a project. It's like, well, can we do a sports car version of this that's actually a road car, not a racing car? And it didn't do so well in racing as the C and D types, but it's one of the most famous cars in the world.
Yeah, it's still known as one of the most beautiful cars ever designed. And you can see why. The lines of it are beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it is a lot of people sort of unfairly sort of dismiss it as like, oh, it's just it's just engineering. It's pure fluke. It's like, well, if you see my granddad's cartoons and paintings, you can see he's an artist as well. And
I think that's quite funny where people say, like you said there, oh, it's engineering. Like,
it is.
Every part of art is science. If you're painting, you're mixing colours. That's ratio. If you're creating a sculpture with a chisel, the angle that you do it at, is it trigonometry or something? And the amount of force you put in, that's going to shape the marble or whatever you're working with. Everything is the science-based. It's the way you use it that creates art. Yeah. And that's definitely what you're...
Well, and this is the interesting thing. So his dad taught at Great Yarmouth Grammar School, and he taught maths and art.
Right.
Quite an unholy combination, right? It's kind of like, really, they're quite different disciplines, but...
But then you've got... Together. I actually did a dissertation on science becoming art.
Oh, okay.
And so you've got things like the golden ratio, which Mona Lisa and all these, it's 1.6 something. That it's the spacing of the eye, it's the all those things that actually become pleasing to the eye, and that's why it works. And it's all in nature, and we see it everywhere. So it's actually a really good connection.
Absolutely, my grandfather studied a lot of art and science in nature. How leaves are constructed and shells and things like that. He's fascinated with that kind of thing. It's because that's pure. What's the word? That's in its purest form, right?
That is.
It's evolved to be perfect for that thing. Yeah. So.
It's there. It's gone through millions of years of evolution to become this one thing, and then we've looked at it and gone, "That's beautiful." Yeah. And do you think your granddad's being quite an inspiration to you with your business?
Definitely. I mean, it was a very different time. I think he was very sort of undervalued at the time. Yeah. It was his job, I think he was aware of what it was. Not quite the impact, because I think it's since then we've actually seen the impact it's had. Yeah. But it's kind of it kind of drove me definitely in terms of like it really made me think, well, what's your legacy? You know, I think it's a bit like going viral. You don't I'm going to have a legacy in this. Yeah. But you kind of want to do something meaningful in life. And wasn't interested in car design. But it's
the legacy thing's quite interesting as well, because if your granddad had designed the D-type without doing the C-type, and it won Le Mans and just did that, a lot of people wouldn't maybe remember the fact that he then had the E-Type that came after it.
Yeah.
The E-Type for most people is probably the recognisable one.
Yeah.
It might not be his greatest success, but it's the thing that most people remember.
Yeah.
So with like the going viral, a lot of people straight away like, we want to go viral. Like we want to go viral. It's like, well, you don't want to go viral for like your first post because people are going to then look on it and go, they haven't got anything else. Well, there's no point in following.
Yeah.
So you have to build that into a strategy of even if you're aiming for to go viral or to do something big, you need to have. I always qualify, I think, content into education or entertainment, and you have to have the education in your posts, so that if you get that entertainment and people look in and go, oh, what is it they do?
Yeah.
Then they find out what they do, what you do. Whereas if it's just entertainment, people are going to go on it and go, oh, it entertained me once, but I need more out of it.
Yes.
And even we look at TV shows and everything. You sit on a cliffhanger because you always want to know more. You want to learn something. You don't want to be told everything. So if they're just putting out entertainment, people are going to get bored. Yeah. So you have to have something in there that has more depth and more meaning. And it's the depth which creates your tribe.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And I think, just touching on what we said earlier, you've kind of got to go through the motions, through the evolution of it. You don't arrive at the D-type unless you did the C. It's going through those things. There were failures in amongst it as well, but sort of fail quickly and keep moving on. And
it's failures, but they're lessons.
Yes,
they're not just that's the end of it. Because like you say, if you stopped after one failure, then it's a failure. Yeah. If you say that didn't work, I'm going to try this next time, or I'm going to look at this, or why didn't it work? Then you carry that forward, and that's again everything relates to business. Yes, we've all messed up, and I've done a few talks at universities and stuff that I used to go to, and one of the things I go in is like, right, this is where I fucked up. Don't do these, right? Yeah, because I've spent too much money on kit in the past. I've undercharged. I've overpromised. When you first start out, you do all these things because you think you look up to everyone else and go, oh, they're doing that, I have to do that. Yeah, but you don't. Right? You need to do what you do for your customers at the value that gives them an ROI. Yeah, and there's so much pressure now from the outside world that you have to be like one of these big social media entrepreneurs or influencers or something, but you don't see the work that they did before that. Right. You don't see their failures. You don't see the lessons they learn. Yeah. And so, like you said, you get up at 4:30.
Silly clock. Yeah.
In the morning. I'm not really a morning person. If I need to get up for a morning, I like it. But my schedule that I found work well for me is I have the morning to myself. So I go to the gym. I take the dog for a walk. Yeah. All those things. Usually do emails and things like that. Have a good lunch, and then I'll come to work, and I can work for 6 or 7 hours, completely focused, knowing I've done all the things that look after me. Right. And then sort of after 4 or 5 o'clock, you stop getting the emails, and so you're even more focused on it. And I can tick off a lot of stuff. Yeah. Why do you do 4:30?
I'm the other way around. Right. I get my stuff done that I've committed to do. Yeah. What's after that is I can either keep going or whatever. And I think things have been crazy the last few years. I've been working day, night, weekends. That's all finished, but won't be forever because something else comes along, some other crazy idea, whatever. But I think you got to have the balance, right? Yeah. It's the life work balance. Yeah. I think that's a lot of what we've really focused on is. Well, if we work with people who trust us and respect us and, it's kind of, well, we want this. And we say, it's not a good idea. Yeah. Well, you come to us because you don't know how to do it or you need support. Work with us, Yeah.
They gave you a goal to hit. Not just going, do this for us, do this, do this. Exactly.
So, and it's kind of, going to sort of enjoying what you do and it being meaningful. Yeah. And that's, I think something we've really had a lot over the years, but a lot more recently is like we're so pleased with this. With your website, it's like a shop front. It's a statement. It's embodied. Everyone will check out your website, and it's your visual representation of your business or you, if solopreneur or whatever. And people said they've been inspired and confident with it, and it's like great. That's the shift. And when you're more confident, you're going to be putting more content out there and, embodying yourself more.
So you're looking more now at saying you need to look after yourself, which means that you can look after your business, which means you can look after your customers. Absolutely. And so you found a work-life balance, which you like the early morning so you can get on with the work and clear those out of your head. Yeah. So then you can do the bits that once your brain is free of all of that, you can concentrate on you.
Exactly
ready to reload in the next day.
Eat the frog, as they say. Deal with the difficult things first. Get them done for me. That's the thing. I'll get mine done before the emails start.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right. Then when it's 9 o'clock comes, I'm like, right, I'm ready. Yeah. By the way, I'm not at my desk at 4:30.
So if clients email you, you're not there at 4:30. Like.
And again, having boundaries, and I've turned notifications off for everything now. And I'm going to put it, I've got WhatsApp Business. I might put an auto response saying, if it's work related, it's my thing.
Almost like
if it's work related, email me.
Yeah.
Because if you WhatsApp me, it's going to get buried in a load of others, load of stupid stuff I get sent. But yeah, having those boundaries, and what I like a lot, I see more and more now, is people say, just because I've emailed you now doesn't mean I'm expecting a response now.
Yeah.
I do my admin when it suits me, sort of thing.
That's not.
And likewise, not expecting that.
There's almost like a hierarchy, isn't there? There's like letters, not particularly important.
Yeah.
Email, text message, phone call.
Yeah.
It's like, if you need a response, call me.
Yeah.
If I'm not available by phone, text me.
Yeah.
If you've got my number,
yeah,
you can text me, because we've obviously been working together enough for that, and I'll get back to you when I can pick it up. Email, I will pick up when I pick up my emails.
Yeah.
Like, people expect everything instantly these days.
It. Yeah.
And you can't do that. Is it something like if you get disturbed from something you're focusing on, it takes 15 minutes to get back into that same time frame?
At least, yeah.
And so if clients or even colleagues realise every time they message you, it's taking 15 minutes out of what work you could have been doing.
Yeah.
So having that little separation and going, right, I'm going to do the 4-hour work week was Tim Ferriss, but
I've got it.
Focus that.
Yeah.
And he used to do emails in the morning and then in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Then he'd do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then he'd do them Monday, Friday. And then he basically just did like 10 minutes a couple of times a week because he didn't have any emails, because he gave the responsibility for everybody else to either be able to action the problem, or all these emergencies that would come in. Suddenly, when you're not replying straight away, weren't emergencies. They were just people panicking. Yeah.
I think I found particularly is a lot of free consulting. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at this, and I was like, cool. Now I'm like, cool. Do you want me to spend an hour on it?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
And people either figure out themselves, like, yeah, great, let's spend the hour, please.
Yeah.
And it's just a clear boundary then, right? Because you want to help people, like, I'll have a look at that. Yeah. You spent 2 hours, and it's like,
it's hard, isn't it, when you've got a passion for what you do,
and
you want to see other people succeed in their business. That when they come to you and go, oh, what do you just think of this? You really want to help because you've got a passion for it being right.
Yeah.
But then you've also got a business.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're giving away everything for free, you don't have a business. But you like
to
give
people
away
start to
bit to help.
Oh, I know. I'll ask Sam. He'll know.
Yeah.
It's like, I may well do.
Let me just delete that email I was going to send you later.
But yeah, it's kind of, I like solving problems. I like fixing things and kind of like how things won't work. And, I'm intrigued. But then, actually, I've got my own mission to do, and other, so it's just trying to keep those.
Do you find you get the same sort of questions? Like, is there any sort of top tips that you could give out now? Sort of.
Top questions. Make a blog post about them.
Yeah.
As detailed as you can, and update them as things come along. It's like, great, check our blog out. Oh right, you've done this. Oh, you do that as well. It's always be putting them on that journey, I suppose. That's been a lot of what we've done for our blog post. Is like what people are asking. There's a great book, and I actually saw Marcus Sheridan in a seminar a couple of years ago, and it blew my mind. His concept is they ask, you answer. Yeah. So for those who don't, it's be the answers person.
Yeah.
Not you yourself.
Yeah.
But publish it. And when he did it, it skyrocketed their SEO.
Right.
At the time, because it was now a lot of people are doing that method.
You're actually using the terminology that your customers are looking for to answer.
So he was selling pools in, was it like Michigan or something like that?
Okay.
So he's like, do I buy a concrete pool or a, what's the other one? I was going to say plasticine.
Let's just go plastic. What kind of plastic?
Plastic, Fiberglass, that's the one. And so it's like, yeah, which are better? We looked at all these, blah, blah, blah. So it's giving loads of stuff for Google. Also, people are like, cool, you just answer more questions.
Yeah.
Other companies are like, you want to buy this one? Because that's what they sell, you know. So
Yes,
it's like, be transparent and give people the options.
Yeah.
And
you're not creating problems for further down the road.
No,
like
exactly,
if you sell a fiberglass pool and it's the wrong thing for that place, if it's wrong, it's probably going to get damaged. It's wrong for a reason.
Yeah.
And then you've got an unhappy customer. But what you always want is a happy customer. No matter what, even if they're not your customer, you want somebody to be happy because they'll always pass on that information later.
Yeah. You know, you want to be the company or the person who's like, oh yeah, they're really helpful. They weren't just trying to sell to me. They just helped, and you know, it's that's the goal for me. You know, no one likes being sold to. You know, so yeah, if you're giving valuable information and something a little bit different, that's the key, right? So,
yeah. Like let yourself be a problem solver for people with a particular issue. Yeah. Solve it, and they'll go off and tell everybody the same. Yeah. Right. That's the thing I'm sort of chatting with a lot of people at the moment is that. Yeah, people always think they come to me and they're, oh, you must hate when people film on their phones. I'm like, no, it's brilliant. Like, do that. Find out what content your followers and your people like. Yeah. Then come to us and be like, you've done your market research. So many people come out with such a in-depth plan of going, right, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to create 50 reels, blah, blah, put them out. Well, you've just done a year's worth of content or 3-6 months of worth of content that you don't even know if your followers like. Yeah. Right. And that's if you've decided that's what you want to do and you've got no expectations of getting business from it, but that's the information you want to put out because you want to find those people, then do it. But if you've gone into it with a plan of going, we're going to do this, well, how do you know that's what they want to see? Like, and don't just copy someone else because that's their tribe, that's their followers, that's their community. Right. Try stuff. Do it on the budget. It's ROI. Everything's ROI. So do it on a budget, find out if it works, then invest in it because you know it works. Don't just go out and copy somebody else and be like, oh well.
Absolutely. Get ideas from it.
Definitely.
And think, okay, well, I've done that. Well, this is our spin on it.
Yeah. Which is why you get the trending audio and stuff like that on Instagram and social media. Yeah. But so many brands just go, oh, that's trending. Let's do something for it. Yeah. But it doesn't fit their brand. Whereas if you can look at stuff and go, this is our brand, this is trending. Does it fit? Yes. Cool. Do it. Or that's where brands like Aldi and Ryanair and things like that are doing brilliantly because they've gone with their branding is we're rebels. Yeah. And it's a supermarket and an airline. Yeah. But they've decided, our social tactic is take the piss out of everybody else to get attention. Yeah. Whereas if BA tried to do the same as what?
It would just, fall flat. And do you know what another one that I love is pot noodle.
Right, yeah.
They know what they are. Yeah. They're not trying to be anything else. And they're celebrating it. Great. Yeah,
go all out on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's, if you can look at your brand and you can say, this is what we do, this is what we stand for, these are our people, then make that shift. Yes. Push everything in that direction and be like, we're your people. We're here to work with you. We're not, there's plenty of other companies who can work with them. We're here for you. We're going to solve your problems, and you'll grow because that network will talk. They're all connected. Yeah, It's like the MySpace thing, isn't it? Like, you MySpace, used to find your little community on there, and then you find your friends would grow and grow and grow. It's gone from those days of you played with the kids in your village to now you're in communication with everybody in the world within your niche. Yeah, through social media, through
I suppose the only danger of that now is you get the echo chambers, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
But, as long as you're aware of that and kind of looking at the other...
But then the echo chambers are just trying to copy somebody else.
True, yeah.
So it's not their voice. Yeah, yeah. Which is why they always... Why you can see they're in echo chamber, why you can see they're wrong. Because they're not speaking what they want to say. They're speaking what they think is going to get a reaction or going to get attention and get the followers. Yeah. And... See, if you look at all the influencers and things that are going around, it's like people like, was it Miss Hinch who did the cleaning? Right. How many cleaning accounts popped up soon after that didn't become anything big, no matter how good they are at cleaning? Yeah. Because they're not her who did it because she enjoyed cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same for Jamie Oliver got quite famous, very famous, because he wanted to change the school dinners and stuff. He was just a chef.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have got nearly as famous as he did.
Yeah, I think he also did the more like accessible cooking.
Yes. Yeah.
Although nowadays, like, reach into your pantry and pick out
quinoa.
I
haven't got quinoa.
But I remember certainly early days, it's like, look, here's stuff you can put together with stuff you have got in your cupboards.
Yeah. And that's the thing that micro content is now is very specific niches of. I was chatting to somebody the other day, and it was if you're going to the gym, here are 5 things you could have for breakfast before going to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's going to work really well for her, but it wouldn't work for a chef.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be very different.
Yeah.
But that's her market.
Yeah.
And then other places, I always look at it as if you want a really good burger, if you go to a Michelin star restaurant, you're not going to be happy. No matter how good that food is, and they bring out that little Wagyu beef with little tiny thing, it's going to be beautiful, but it's not a burger.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So you have to advertise what you do and then let people go, I want that.
Yep.
Because if not, if you advertise something you don't do, or you advertise something you want to do, they're going to turn up and go, I want a burger. And you go, we do little Wagyu with mashed potato or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to be happy because you've wasted everybody's time. You're trying to push them into something they don't want. Yeah. Whereas if you just shout about, we do this and we do it brilliantly, people will love it because they go, that's answering exactly what I want. And that's what content and digital marketing and everything and business in general is going to.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's creating that network as well to go along with it, so that it's not just you shouting about what you do. It's everybody around saying, oh, well, if you want a really good burger, you want to go here. If you want a really good website, you want to go here.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want a generic website, no, don't speak to Sam.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work. And that's so much that I'm trying to talk about and trying to bring to Northamptonshire, because in the last podcast we discussed and said the main selling point of Northamptonshire is that we're close to London, but we've got so much expertise and so many brilliant companies here, and like you were saying, you have a lot of Northamptonshire based clients, but you also work with national clients, don't you?
A lot of London clients, and one thing we've said a few times actually, it's London quality but not London prices. Because we've got me and the team worked in big agencies. So we know what we're doing. But we haven't got the big overheads of the big fancy office in London.
Same with us. People say, who are clients that you've worked with before? And well, you might have heard of them. You've got Ferrari, Audi, lots of big brands. That when we've worked with London agencies and we've worked with these big brands, people go, they work in London, they're from London. So no, they work in London. Actually, you'll find everybody commutes in. We've got the talent pool here, but we don't shout about it. So this is sort of why I wanted to start the podcast and bring in people like yourself who are doing fantastic stuff with a company that's got a brilliant story on it. And as well, when we met, we just got on.
That's it. You want to have that connection.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point.
No. And it was it was a BNI, wasn't it? Somebody said, you should speak to Sam. We met up, and what usually happens with me, if I get on with somebody, is we'll chat for like 2 hours. And I think that's what we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I met in Keno Lounge.
It was in Keno. It was in Keno. Another fantastic business place in Kettering. Really nice to meet you for a coffee there. Yeah. And that's what we're really going for here with our guests. So we had Jake last week. We've got you this week. Yeah. Both people I've met up and gone, I can chat with you for hours. I think we've probably done it again. We had a half an hour timer and the timer's not on. So we're probably going to have to wrap it up. Yeah. But I just wanted to open up the table to you to say, is there anything you want to sort of speak about that we haven't spoke about? Or is there any tips that you want to give people for, if they are starting out and they're doing their own website? Yep. What are things that people, what are the no-nos? What are things you see? Okay. Let's try and stop all those messages where people go, oh, can I speak to you for an hour? And you've said, well, you can either hire me what are those couple of minutes now? You can stop that phone call, so you only get the ones that do want to work with you.
Okay, so starting with like the tips first.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like free platforms out there. They're free because they have limited tool sets and you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Brilliant. A lot of our clients, they've started with a Wix site or Weebly or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've reached the end of, we haven't got time anymore. We've reached our sort of capacity, like capability with it.
Yeah.
We need help. So we do a lot of like what we call level up sites. Like, great, you're clear on what you're doing now. Your business is established. Right, we'll help you go next level. But yeah, go for itself. It's actually good to understand what it is and how it works. And for every site we do, we offer training. A lot of clients not interested in doing it themselves. Like, great, we have a maintenance support program. Yeah. So we look after people on that. So yeah, absolutely go for it. It's good to understand it. If you're doing content, don't just use what ChatGPT spits out. You know, just make it yours.
Yeah.
Give it a prompt to be a certain kind of style at least. You know, some of the content we get, we're like, this is just straight.
Or get it to ask you the questions.
Yeah.
What would my
as a Northamptonshire-based photographer, whatever, what would I say? Because it's going to give you that a bit more of an original spin at least. But yeah, use it as a tool, not just what raw comes out. It's anyway. But I think be really understanding your big idea, your value proposition. That's really key. We wrote a really lengthy blog about that because it is hard to do and it might change. But if you get that bit right, all the rest sort of falls off that. Yeah. So that's really key. I think just be bold and clear in what you do. Don't just be different. You don't have to be different. Yeah. You just got to be clear on what you do. That's the tips, I think. Just in terms of other things, especially Northamptonshire based, I am the chair of Northampton Community Aid, which is a charity going just about 3 years now, and we basically exist to give grants to grassroots charities.
Brilliant.
So these are charities with not a massive reserve in the bank.
Yeah.
Who are doing? We gave a grant the other day for Sports for Fitness. Who do lots of programs for kids.
Great.
We gave grants to Frank Bruno Foundation, Kids Aid in the past, Crusader Boats. So Crusader Boats are awesome. They've got 2 boats, I think a 35-seater and a 20-seater. And you can rent them out for day as a business if you want to. Yeah. So if you want a team building day or entertain clients, something very different. They also do stuff for disadvantaged kids as well. Yeah. So that's the charitable aspect of it.
Yeah.
And the whole point of it is we're a collective of business owners. There's a number of trustees. We've got a growing supporter base as well, because I certainly found I want to support charities, but there's several to support. I was like, well, I've only got a certain amount I can offer.
Yeah.
Which one do I pick? Because I feel like letting the other one down. So in supporting Northampton Community Aid, you're actually supporting loads of charities.
Yeah.
And that really was where the magic was. I was like, great, so I can support all these people by supporting one thing. Like, brilliant.
And all the charities that you generally hear of are because they're spending a lot of money on advertising. So it's the small ones, like you're saying there, that a small donation goes a long way.
Exactly.
Whereas maybe a lot of the big charities, their turnover is big, but they're spending quite a lot of money on the advertising to get in there to get the donations.
It's charities where like £1,000 or £1,500 will make a difference.
Yeah.
So for Crusader Boats, it literally kept them afloat.
Right.
Their costs, were going crazy, and like without that grant, they could have gone under.
Yeah.
It's
and
like great.
It's the sort of money that some people spend on a weekend away with the family or something like that has literally changed the lives of a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's really tangible. There's some I'd say most charities are good, right?
Yes.
But I often felt, I did a lot of like 10K runs back in the day. God, I couldn't do it now. You've done good, but you feel like a bit of a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're doing, we do a check presentation. You actually see the results.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's not a drop in the ocean. You're seeing directly where your donation's going.
Yeah.
Like it's a bigger percentage towards it.
Absolutely.
So they're all doing good, but at least that way you can get those charities really started.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So look us up. Look at the website. Look at us on socials. Come on board. We're doing a fun day later in the year. Try and get it's community building, right?
Everything's
that
community.
Sort of thing is. Yeah. And one thing we did an annual roundup last year at Barrett's.
Okay.
So it's like snooker, darts, beer pong.
Yeah.
Got charities there, supporters there, trustees there. Actually, one of the really interesting things was like the money's great. Thanks. Not done that, but actually we need tables.
Yeah.
We need someone to help us paint something.
Okay.
You know, we're looking for people who can help out on a day.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we've got these communities. Let's bring them together.
Skill sets of value.
Exactly. So, like I say, it's the community aspect of it I love. I really do. So, yeah.
And that's every time. It seems to be. I mean, I say every time. We're on podcast number 2, but the end of the last podcast was all about community as well. This one, we've just sort of got towards the end. It's community, and I think that's something that's probably going to carry forward, because for me, business isn't about making money.
Yep.
Business is about families. So it's the owner of different businesses, it's the customers. It's all people at the end of the day, and it's all community. So if we can do stuff to support each other, to help each other grow, and to provide good custom to our customers, then that community grows. Absolutely. And the whole of Northamptonshire grows as well. We keep the funds flowing around everybody. Yeah. Everybody has a nice time, and everybody can keep smiling.
That's the legacy, right?
That's the one.
That's the legacy. Is like, well, how have we helped? What have we contributed?
Yeah. How can we help the community around us? How can we educate everybody so their businesses can do better? Yeah. And just build that community every step. Right. So, people for community, if you want to grow yours, people. LinkedIn or Instagram?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Active on LinkedIn these days. LinkedIn is great. Check out our website. So we've doing like a bit of a relaunch at the minute. But yeah, I'm always happy to have a chat. I like networking, you know. So yeah, come and have a chat.
Brilliant. Hopefully some people will get in touch with you, and your network can grow a bit.
Awesome.
As mine seems to be at the moment on LinkedIn, just from meeting people like yourself and attending networking and meeting other people that I get on with. And we had Jake last week, had you this week, people I've met through networking who would now consider friends that I can, we could go for a coffee, we could go for a beer. It's not scary doing the whole networking, getting in touch with people. It might look like, well, they're a business, but it's all people.
It opens your horizons in the day.
It does. Yeah.
Cool.
So thank you very much for coming along, mate.
Thanks, mate.
And
good to speak to you.
Look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Cool. Catch you later.
Done.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, good.